stream. Turning output up so they can hear our esteemed guest. They should be able to hear you now.
Hello, y'all.
Going to webcam. Little scuffed, but we're here. It's content night. Axellent YouTube. How you doing, Axel?
I'm alive.
Gracious day, isn't it? Gracious day. I had no plans to stream when I woke up this morning, and then something happened, and I was like, I should stream.
What happened? What occurred?
Oh, Axel, I'm so happy you asked. We're gonna get straight to the meat of it. Oh wait, actually, oh my god, I didn't queue up this music. Let me go find it. Sipping on that juice. You know they call me the drink, right? They call me the drink.
Mm-hmm. What they call you? They call you the drink in college.
Liquidity. When I was a kid, they called me the juice box. Hey Juan. Juan, you're in for a fucking stream today, my boy.
Ooh.
Okay. Fuck. Where is it, man? Where's the Metaton theme? Shit.
Which one?
Last episode? No, not that one. Not that one. I wanna...
Which Mediton theme?
The news one.
Oh,
live report. Here we go.
Yeah, there we go.
Alrighty, welcome to Electrics News. We're here with Axel behind the desks here in the studio. Word on the street is bitches are wildin'.
Are they?
Suppose so. What made me want to stream today initially was the fact that I saw a fucking clip on Twitter about 6 to 7 hours ago at this point of the one, the only, Asmon Gold.
Oh god, okay.
Now, Axel, how actually informed are you about this subject? Because I texted you, when I texted you to come on stream, I said, we're talking shit about Asmon, and I'm not sure if you knew what we were doing. You were down for it, but I'm not sure if you knew particularly what this was about, what this entailed.
The only true thing I know about Asmongold is he sometimes gives okay game development advice, but he lives in squalor.
Oh no. Oh, you haven't heard what's happened in the past 6 hours then. Axel, today we are talking about the downfall of Asmongold.
Downfall?
Because there is no way he is making it unscathed from this shit that happened today. Let's go live to the scene. Opening up my first one, I realized.
Do we have a correspondent out in Asmongold's house?
Yeah, we have a cockroach live from the scene. They're live. Hold on, I gotta pull up the. I'll stream the tab to you.
It's just a cockroach with 6 microphones.
Yeah. Let's see. Boom. Okay, don't read too much into it. Don't read too much into it, Axel. Now, don't read too much into it. That's it. Don't read too much into it. We're going to it now. Fuck. I gotta get the right tab. Sorry, stream. Here we go. Okay, we're live here. So, Asmongold had something to say. I believe.
When doesn't he?
So this is from a stream earlier today. This is the clip from the stream that has just got motherfuckers talking. Let's just watch the clip and then we'll get to it after. There's a lot of stuff surrounding this, so let's watch the clip first of all.
If you want to consider a genocide as a systematic killing of a group of...
You can't hear it?
Cannot hear it. Oh, wait.
I was saying, you might have your voice.
If you want to consider a...
Okay.
If you want to consider a genocide as a systematic killing of a group of people, they have genocide built into Sharia law right now. So no, I'm not going to cry a fucking river when people who have genocide that's baked into their laws are getting genocided. I don't give a fuck. They're terrible people. It's not even a question. It's crazy that people don't see it that way. They'd be doing the same thing. And how much did they kill? As many as they can.
No.
They're not able to kill as many people as Israel because they don't have as many bombs and as many weapons. But if they did, they'd be doing the same thing. That's it. Just takes enough. That's right. These people are not your allies. They are not the same as us.
Here's the line.
They come from an inferior culture that is horrible. It kills people for their identity, and it is directly antithetical to everything Western values stand for, and it is an inferior culture in all ways. It is that simple. No, I don't feel bad for them. I don't feel sorry for them. I don't care. I don't support them.
I gotta go dark mode on this one.
There's so many things to go over in this 1 minute and 15-second clip alone.
Where do we start?
He came out of the gate swinging, dog.
Can we first tackle the
If you want to,
Sharia
we can go point by point for the video if you want to.
Okay, so
If you
So
want
the
to
one
consider a
first clip,
genocide
first
as a
point.
systematic killing of a group of people, they have genocide built into Sharia law right now.
Okay.
pause.
Pausing.
So does Christianity. Like, so does every... As someone who was raised in the Catholic faith for the first, 2 decades of my life, if you read the book...
Which they don't. Which they don't.
If you read the book, it is eerily similar to, maybe not New Testament, because that was where it's love thy neighbor and all that other... The stuff that we probably should be following on a day-to-day basis. There was crusades where there was legit genocide of religion of Islam.
Not even talking about Spanish Inquisition. Not even
Not
touching
even
on
that, which was way more recent than people realize.
Mm.
And that is a non-starter because Christianity has... The thing is it's not phrased. We're going off of phrasing, which is even worse.
It's built into Sharia law, which, as we know, every single Palestinian, including all the babies, follow to a T, which we know.
And if we're going off of Sharia law was not even instated in the Middle East until the 50s or 60s. And before then, they were like every other Western nation until what the fuck? I'm blanking on the leader's name, but he reinstated. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I believe you do. I believe I do. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm completely blanking on the leader's name, but he reinstated it in the mid 20th century, and then it became a traditional Islamic state. Before then, it looked like every other Western country up until that point. So, if we're gonna treat them like it's baked in, to an extent, it was already baked in when they were acting like a Western nation. But they just weren't following it like how America really doesn't follow Christianity, because it is just a text that some people in the country follow. That is all.
It's all just double standards, and that's all it is with Asman. Let's continue along the clip.
So no, I'm not going to cry a fucking river when people who have genocide that's baked into their laws are getting genocided. I don't give a fuck. They're terrible people. It's not even a question. It's crazy that people don't see it that way.
Pausing. I can't.
Lack of empathy.
I cannot understand. So this is a thing that I use when I'm thinking about, or arguing with another person, is if you cannot give me the basic human empathy for another person, and if that's not what your morals or philosophy is based off of, then what the hell are we doing here?
Yeah, exactly.
It makes zero sense to me that this is just how and it's not like this is an issue that he's been, as a matter of fact, this is not an issue that he's been vocal about before. He's went and talked to Hassan about it on stream. I think that was last month. He's always, but then again, he's also very, what is he doing talking about it? Something changed. Apparently something changed. Something had changed, apparently.
They'd be doing the same thing.
Taking a sip of his rat poison.
And how much did they kill? As many as they can. They're not able...
Is this 2001?
What the fuck is this Red Scare shit?
Is this 2001 Islamophobia? Is this what we're doing again?
Is this when they're like, oh, there was a group
Were
of
they on the
Muslims
rooftop in Jersey? What is going on? What are we doing here, man?
It's
as many as they can.
The thing is, it's not crazy because I've seen this same kind of rhetoric like being thrown about as if someone put it like this. I think it was Jon Stewart of The Daily Show. Love me some Jon Stewart from The Daily Show because I'm a bleeding heart liberal.
Jon Stewart.
And it was either him or Hassan, where it was the reaction of Israel to the thing that a terrorist organization within Gaza was doing with the ratio of action. Like,
I'm not sure if this is what you're getting to. I saw it referenced yesterday, probably not for the first time, but I saw it referenced again yesterday, where it's like, imagine there was a shooter in a school and you blow up the whole school.
That's it. That's exactly it. You bomb the county.
You bomb the county. Like, what?
Able to kill as many people as Israel because they don't have as many bombs and as many weapons. But if they did, they'd be doing the same thing. That's it. Just takes enough. That's right. These people are not your allies. They are not the same as us. They come from an inferior culture that is...
They come from an inferior culture. Here's a picture of Asmongold's room. They come from an inferior culture. This is obviously superior. Obviously.
Thing is
he's got a million cultures of different species in this room alone.
As much as I would love to dunk on him for his hygiene and his cleanliness, that is not even a dry route into Nazism right there. That's a very lubed up, that is pure subjugated Nazism. That's
you had no reason
rhetoric
to lean this way. Literally, stay at home and play World of Warcraft, dog. What are we doing?
If they would, if they had the resources. Did you talk to a family in Gaza after their house was firebombed? I
will mention that I did see a horrifying video earlier today. Obviously I'm not going to play it on stream. I don't even want to play it again because it was fucking terrible. And maybe that's where he sparked this conversation from, because it's a video of a hospital, or like not even a hospital. The hospitals are all gone. It's a video of a refugee camp that's been turned into like a medical camp, just firebombed, and there's just people inside, like with IVs still attached to them.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what he was talking about, and if so, that makes this like 10 times worse because that's the most recent thing that I've seen. We'll just finish off the clip here.
It's horrible. It kills people for their identity, and it is directly antithetical.
It kills people for their identity. I don't know if you saw the recent thing. I believe it was I forgot his name. He talked about Chapel Roan. Because obviously,
what the fuck did he say about Chapel Roan?
Not Asmon. It was what's his name? Some right-wing comedian, former.
Oh, is
Bill
he
Maher, Bill Maher.
Oh my
Bill
god,
Maher.
Oh, okay. What do you say?
But it was something along the lines of, he's just fantasizing about her going to Gaza and just getting murdered. Which, to be fair, you wouldn't get killed for being gay in Gaza. You'd get killed by bombs in Gaza.
Which don't see skin color or religion. They just see ground. Unless it's targeted.
It's a lot of this is just I fantasize about you getting murdered. That's all. That's what most of this is. It's like, oh, I'm just imagining you in my head getting just killed, is all it is.
It's a very people don't really have this conversation enough for it. This is a very dangerous mindset just to even have.
This is Chronically Online final boss.
Well, that's the thing. It's Chronically Online.
He never leaves the house. Just has to go film a podcast, which I stopped listening to because it was just. The
thing is people don't understand. Like, as we've gotten more and more, listen, having a career on the internet is great. It's so fun to make money and to do haha funny on the internet. But the thing is when you don't understand, actions have consequences. Mm-hmm. And like, if Asmon has an audience, that's the thing. He has an audience of ears that'll listen to him, and they are going to go vote.
Axel, I've seen the most vile responses today in regards to this clip.
What, like against him or for him?
No, very much like Asmongold fans. I mean, it says it right here on his subreddit. Like, it just has his username, the literal god. Like, you see how these people treat him. Now, admittedly, and we talked about like how this is going to you know, how like, you know, you leave behind an impression. I had a very I had a reaction to it today. Like I had a reaction.
That's a little intense, Electric.
I'm aware. This is immediately after seeing what time did I post this? 5:20? Yeah, that was immediately after I saw it.
As funny as that is a very intense reaction.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'm fuming. I worked it all out in the gym. I'm good now. I might delete it later. It depends on what we're about to watch.
The post-stream clarity.
Depends on what we're about to watch, because we have another bit of this, and we're not going to watch the whole thing because it's 3 hours long, but we'll get to it. And I also said it here. I can't wait for Twitch to not do a damn thing about this, and OTK. As we know, Asmund Gold is a founding member of OTK. He hasn't, the clip or himself hasn't been taken out on Twitch.
Of course. Why would it?
And
He's
then
making
also
the money.
just nothing from OTK. But I have seen quite a few creators, like people that I'm aware of, come out and talk about it. Saying like, yeah, he's just a shit person. These are people who have kind of been against him anyways. That doesn't matter. But recently, I think in the past, like a couple hours after this, maybe around like 6 p.m. or some shit, he went on Hassan's stream. And I have the VOD here, or like I guess the cold clip from it. So we'll see what we can pick through for this, just to watch like 10 minutes of it and see if we can get a vibe read. Because I've heard one thing, and I've heard that he is just, this whole stream is just backtracking. It's just Asmund just backtracking.
Oh no! Okay.
Who could have thought? So let's watch the first.
Who'd have thought?
Why has the attitude overall in terms of governance changed so dynamically and so dramatically?
I think there's probably a bunch of different reasons for it, right? I mean, it's not like one reason, but I don't think that are we trying to imply that it's like American imperialism and interventionism that's caused this to happen? Is that kind of like where you're going with this?
No, I am saying that. Yeah. America not only directly.
Chad, I'm so sorry if you didn't prepare for a political stream, but this is absolutely what tonight is.
Come back in like 30 minutes.
Come back in like 30 minutes. Like we have one more piece of drama, and then I guess you might have something too. Yeah, you do have something, which kind of blends into mine.
I have a whole rabbit hole of other shit that's kind of like this, but it's funnier.
Yeah.
Arm.
You can't really be haha about this.
In the interest of fairness, I want you to explain what you said that I saw in clips.
Hopefully this will give us some more context.
Earlier today, I think.
Okay, so basically, I find it to be really problematic that people put like a lot of virtue signaling, and I think it is virtue signaling, for people that are supportive for like trans rights and LGBT rights when they support countries that people and prosecute them for being LGBT. I think it's
we can talk about that a little bit too, because this is going a bit more on what we talked about earlier, is the moral standards there are just not connected. Oh my god, he's confuddled.
Wait, so
if you're gay, you should not care about children and babies who probably don't even give a fuck.
So in his own way, he's virtue signaling.
Yeah, he's absolutely that whole clip we just watched is him virtue signaling to his army of like fucking incels.
Because it's one thing if like you are in a oppressed protected class, and you personally don't have as deep of knowledge as like other classes because you are all struggling and being actively persecuted. That's one thing in one society, and we're seeing that with America. Like we are actively seeing it, and everyone's trying to work their shit out together so that we can all rise together. But not every. It's a.
So I that's what also I was going to talk about too. Is like, oh, in Gaza or Palestine, like, oh, the gays or any LGBT people are discriminated against, or like they're lambasted. That's how it is here. Yeah. In like fucking rural North Carolina, that's how it is here. That's how it is where you live. I'm talking. This is more Asmund. Like in fucking Texas. You in Texas. Like, come on, do not fucking play with me, dog. It's like if you're gay, you're not allowed to have morals for people who are being systematically slaughtered.
It's like weighing it. Why are we weighing this? It's suffering. Why are we weighing suffering? You know?
Let's see
a
if
huge
he,
problem. I
is
don't
this
think
just
you
gonna
can
be
have
him
both of
doubling
those
down?
things.
So when you were saying like Palestinians exhibited culture, that's you were simply talking about the hypocrisy. Is that what it is?
Yeah, pretty much. I do. And
Can you pause real
somebody
quick?
in my chat
Pause it?
said,
Hassan trying desperately to give him some.
This is the exact same as fucking Alex Jones and Kanye West. This is the exact same of Alex Jones being like, well, we don't like the Nazis, right? And Kanye's like, I love Hitler. And Alex Jones is like, huh? And he kept trying to put him back on the track, and Kanye was just not having it at all.
Listen, Hassan's like, give me one logical point. I will feed it to you, please.
So,
and
so like, that's not what you meant, right? And then Asman's just like, yeah, no, that's what I meant.
it's literally Alex Jones and Kanye.
Dude.
Jesus
that
Christ.
you said that I thought Christian theocracy was better.
No, I didn't say that.
Oh, what a surprise. Okay. Well, here's the thing, right? Yeah, go ahead.
I want you to like fully explain because I want to
This is the video I
understand.
saw.
I want to understand everything that you mean beyond the hypocrisy, because like the hypocrisy version or the hypocrisy in and of itself is one thing that we can address. It's a super simple concept.
Well, how
But
do
I
you
think there's
feel
a
about that?
broader, there's always a broader point beyond hypocrisy, because online, hypocrisy in and of itself, or even the invocation of hypocrisy or perceived hypocrisy is seemingly a more damaging thing than like actual material harm, right? Oh, this person is hypocritical, and that's like a very common thing.
Yeah.
I'm sure you experience it on a regular basis as well. It doesn't really matter.
Most hypocrisy, I think, is derived from a misunderstanding that is often deliberate. I see it oftentimes with you. You've seen it with me. Everybody has it happen. It's extremely common.
So is he just acknowledging, like, there's double standards? Is that all that is? But then he's just gonna keep talking, and then he's gonna keep acting on the double standard?
I'm gonna pose a question to you and the audience watching.
Very well. Sure, we got a lot of viewers on this one.
When you're young, you sometimes don't have a belief system yet installed in your mind. And if you unfortunately find yourself in a debate with someone who is well more versed than you, have you ever just bullshitted?
Oh yeah.
This is what it sounds like. Asmongold is just bullshitting and is just thinking as he goes with
I'm waiting for like the crazy virtue signaling to start.
I think right now he's working within the hitty bowling alley lane that Hassan has given him to try and work his way out. I'm just waiting for all of a sudden him to just come out of nowhere and just
right hook,
just for no reason, unwarranted. Like, that's what I'm waiting for.
Common on the internet.
It's the Andrew Tate phenomenon, right? Where people don't give a fuck about like what Andrew Tate may have done or may not have done, or all that he has definitely done, right? And care more about like, perceived hypocrisy. Usually, they care more about that than anything else. So I don't really.
I think there's a Norm Macdonald clip about that. It was very good.
Yeah, I don't necessarily care about hypocrisy that much, but in terms of the hypocrisy of the matter, I can explain it to you.
Sure.
Number one, so in terms of LGBTQ acceptance, right? Trans acceptance, queer acceptance.
I'm waiting for the biggest.
You find that to be in the United States of America, in the wealthiest nation on earth, one of the most prosperous nations on the planet, to be to a certain degree, like a fancy thing to advocate for, right?
I don't think that you have to be rich to advocate for LGBT acceptance.
No, that's not what I'm saying.
Okay, what are you saying? Sorry.
No. What I'm simply saying is that LGBTQ representation in video games is oftentimes considered to be something that is like unnecessary, or something that is considered
you're talking
to
about
be
like in games?
In games, in facets of culture, in facets of media.
Yeah, sometimes it happens. It feels like it's inauthentic. Yeah, sure.
Okay. Well, in
that to a degree, that can be true if it's like crazy shoehorned in. But that's not at all what he's talking about. You know damn well he's talking about a game having like a pride flag in it or some shit.
Yes.
Like that's absolutely what he's talking about. He's not talking about like an overly stereotypical or like a caricature of like a
Yeah.
LGBT person. That's not what he's talking about at all. Like I know damn well when he played Cyberpunk, the one race mission where like she just has the trans flag because there's a trans character, which like that's like something that you have to like I didn't know until I played the game. I'm like, oh, it's a trans flag on the back of her car, and then she tells you straight out. I'm like, holy shit! I had like that's sick. I bet you damn well that's not like he discounts it when it's like not to his view.
If it doesn't serve him, he won't acknowledge it.
Yeah,
It doesn't exist. And then if you bring it up, well, I don't know
all
about
he does
that.
is all he does is live in like the headspace of it too. Because Asmon's Gold stream is just an echo chamber.
I don't.
It's taken Hassan to even try to give this motherfucker a way out, and we're about to see if he even does.
Wait, is there a positive example of LGBTQ representation that you can think of in mainstream media in recent years?
Sure.
Just so I understand what the dynamic is there.
Did you play Final Fantasy 16?
I did not.
Oh my god. So they had a character in Final Fantasy 16. His name was Dion. And he was like the prince of an area. He was like the, like person who could like channel Bahamut, right? And he was gay, and it was part of the story. And they actually blocked sale for that game in some places in the Middle East because Square Enix didn't want to censor the game for that reason. And I respected them a lot for that.
But that was wait, they refused to block the game? Is that what you're saying?
Yes, Square Enix did not do that.
And that was a good representation of like gay or trans.
Yeah, I think so. I really do.
Okay.
I think that whenever you create a character, that the character's personality, sometimes it feels like when characters are added into stories, especially if they have like an LGBT like lean to them, they can be turned into being like a one-dimensional like I guess identification of that person.
That's exactly.
And it's like they make like an overt effort to talk about that and discuss it. And I feel like in a lot of times it can come off as patronizing or talking down to the.
Okay.
It feels very inauthentic to me.
Okay, so
Yeah.
there are instances where there's like gay representation, trans representation that's like ham-fisted and just simply added on as not a necessary vehicle for narrative development, but instead simply for identity points, right?
Sure.
To do diversity. Okay, so not to get too lost in the sauce, we can get back to this part of the conversation in a second. But my point was that like that level of LGBTQ representation, it's for diversity. It's for marketing purposes. Usually it's just like sometimes it could be narrative devices, but ultimately it doesn't really matter. But a lot of people still get mad at it, right? A lot of people in the Western world still get mad at it. And for me in particular, there is a hierarchy of needs for and that all human beings respond to, all human beings exist under.
Is this like a Maslow's hierarchy of needs, or is this like something else?
Maslow's hierarchy of needs is appropriate, but like there's a higher standard, because the Maslow's hierarchy of needs usually is under the confines of like at least a developed country, where a developed country that is not constantly being or victims of like colonial occupation. My point is that Palestinians are not inherently or anything like that. There are gay Palestinians, there are trans Palestinians, both living in Gaza, in historic Palestine, and also certainly outside of Gaza.
Well, is it against the law?
The problem is there is no time or space or opportunity for them to engage in queer liberation, let alone, advocate for more representation in their artworks, for example, when they're too busy being destroyed and ethnically displaced for 76 years under an apartheid regime that is a settler colonial occupation.
Okay, real quick. You don't think that I support Israel, do you?
I don't.
Froze up for a minute because you don't think I support Israel, do you?
After all that.
After all of that? Who do you support? Like,
At this
what?
point, does he want to? Does he want to like Tom and Jerry saw the entire Middle East
I'm
off
telling
of
you,
the world?
the backpedal. This man is he's getting so much cardio in right now with the backpedaling that he's fucking doing.
He changed the entire subject to representation in the gaming industry just so he didn't have to talk about what he said.
Do you think I support Israel? Like, what have you just spent the last like fucking 20 minutes talking about in the clip, bro?
Homophobia within like historically Islamic places, a country that has been historically being killed off for 70 years.
Okay.
Like Hassan put it best. They don't have time for gay liberation because they're all fucking dying at the hands of another nation.
I'm so scared for what is about to come out of Asmon's mouth.
But I think
Okay,
that
good.
no, I don't think you support Israel, but I think you saying
No, I
that
don't.
like
Not
Palestinians
at
are immoral or evil or have an evil culture.
There's
or,
like no other way to take the statement that Asmon just had. Like, you cannot watch that clip and be like, I bet he doesn't hate all of them. Like, no, he said the most virile shit in that clip.
Mm-hmm.
That he doesn't feel anything
did.
for them, that they're an inferior culture, that they don't deserve empathy.
Straight up.
How the hell
Islamophobia.
is he about to turn this around? Straight like war on terror Islamophobia. How the
We are
hell...
watching a content creator pulling a Titanic. How are they gonna?
How
are
are
they
they about to steer this fucking ship away from the iceberg?
is
I think
not
that.
only ahistorical. What's up?
I do think that.
Yeah,
I mean, I
think you're wrong.
I don't know, man. Like, how can you be in support of a culture that tells people that they can't be who they want to be? Like, I mean, really, I mean, if I was advocating for what the laws were there, I would get banned for. How's that acceptable?
Yeah. I think you are misunderstanding what their culture is, what the Palestinian culture is, and you're also not
He's being
setting
so
the standard
patient. It
under
could
the
not be
material
me.
conditions in which they
Could never be
which
me.
they exist.
I mean, you saw my tweet.
I don't
Like-
think that you can do that. So there are
Like,
a
for
number of other
example-
countries.
For example.
Okay, well, okay, let me go after this.
Okay, you go ahead. But I will give you more historically appropriate points in
Sure.
a second.
So basically, the reason why I don't like what they do is because it's based off of a religious theocracy. And so you can look at other religious theocracies in other countries that aren't being, and the one commonality that they have is that they all suppress people's identity and they express their freedom of expression. And I think that any culture and any type of government that is derivative of a religion is fundamentally. I think this is true with any book. It's true with Judaism. It's true with Christianity. It's true with Islam. It's true with Hinduism. I think it's true with anything. And I find it to be very problematic that we're using these books as a guideline for like how to make laws when these books actively encourage people for different types of
A ray of
identities.
hope.
And
A ray of hope
obviously,
shines
like,
through.
I understand that there's like a huge spectrum of
A ray of-
people that are part of any culture. There's people
Ray
that
of
are way
hope.
more progressive, people that are way less progressive. But what I see is that I see countries that have laws that haven't been right. You look at like Saudi Arabia or like Dubai. A lot of these other countries still have the same types of expressions or same type of restrictions on the expression for LGBT. And I find that to be problematic. And I think that you could I want to make sure that this is very clear because like, I don't want you to think that this is something that's like the brown people over there are wrong. I would say the exact same thing for us, like the church, like Christianity. Like if you look at, for example, like Salem witch trials, it's disgusting. It's horrible. So all I'm saying is that I think that there is a standard that's being applied, and I don't really understand how that's defensible at all.
So he's just... Now, he didn't say He didn't say a single thing that was wrong there. But he's very purposely tiptoeing around the fact that he just said he didn't care if these people were just erased off the face of the earth.
It's like an art. Like seeing him turn. He. I don't know if he's dodging the iceberg. He's Tokyo
He
drifting.
might just be tanking it.
He might just be going straight.
He might
through
just try to hit it. I don't know. He already scraped it with the clip. I think he's trying. He's trying to take. He's got a bucket. He's in the Titanic. He's got a bucket, and he's just shoveling water.
The thing is his comparison of more historic religions and how they like to just love to systematically try and wipe off every other parallel religion to them. Mm-hmm. Yes, that is a point, and yes, we are still feeling that to this day. Like, the church still does have power in America and even the UK.
It's gotten worse.
It's gotten worse, but the thing is, there's separations. I feel like he does not understand there's government and there's people. Those are not the same thing.
And that's my same thing with like any like sentiment or criticism towards Israel. It's like it's the immediate anti-Semitism that comes along with it. It's like, no.
Dude, even the like immediate cabinet of Israel hates the president. Because they're like, this is not us. There is a difference between people, regular people who are suffering, who are born into a culture that, yes, in their culture and in the book that their culture is basing it themselves off of. Is there baked in homophobia? I don't know, because I haven't read it. But the interpretations of that book may leave that to be, because God forbid, there's so many Christians who are homophobic, but there is not one instance in the actual Bible that says man slept with man is a sin. The passage that everyone goes off of is about either animals or children. But God forbid someone has critical thinking skills.
Clearly not in this case. Clearly not in this case.
It's just, I don't...
Let's go in. Like, it's 3 hours long. Let's skip to about like 25 minutes. Let's see what's going on here.
Oh God.
Oh, look at Kaya. Not a thought going on in her head. She does not know what's happening.
I can feel Hassan. It's like
the molding coming through.
He's holding his hand.
Dude.
He's trying so hard.
From Palestinians and Palestinian governance, they still, of course, offer solidarity. I said this earlier, and I think it's a take bear repeating. I'm in favor of Medicare for all and universal social safety nets in the United States of America unconditionally. I do not believe in refusing to offer, for example, any sort of health care to a person because they're uneven, right? That's an extreme case. I think that they deserve health care.
I agree with you, and I would even go farther than that. I think that if somebody's an illegal immigrant, I don't think that we should ever I think it's disgusting to tell a doctor or tell a healthcare provider to let somebody or to let them bleed out or something like that just because of that. I completely agree with you. I had to pay my taxes recently. I'm sure you're probably about in the same place. It was 7 figures. And so I have no problem with that.
I live in California. It's pretty significant.
You got a bad, yeah.
But I don't care.
Good.
I don't mind that.
I don't either. I used to be paying for people used to pay for my food stamps. Now I'm paying for somebody else's. And if they raise my...
That's another great point, is that like Asman lived in poverty. Like he's had it bad. So where is that switch that made him flip and just stop caring?
I don't think there is a switch. You know the phrase, you go so far left, you go right? I think he's had too much time. And listen, I don't like psychoanalyzing because
Welcome to Parasocial Hour with Electrics and Axel.
I'm trying desperately to not make any like assumptions based off of someone I have no idea. So with politics, if you are not constantly making sure you are informed or in touch and keeping yourself based in reality, there's times where people will go so far left, they somehow end up at the right. Or someone goes so far right, they come out left. And you see it a lot with people who are on television. And I think Asmongold is in that same spot. Because in his mind, this is a leftist idea. Like, oh, you're homophobic? You should die. but then pertains it to an entire country of people. But no, that love, that's and empathy and humanity. You know?
Beyond me. I don't,
Taxes to pay for Medicare for all. I would be happy and I would vote for that.
So if you
I would be
understand that,
for sure.
so you recognize that, would you say that like a religious enclave in Alabama, for example, deserves to be wiped out for their understanding of like gay people, like a white religious enclave in Alabama?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
I don't think that they deserve to be wiped out, but I would not advocate for them. I would not look at that group and say, this is a group of people that I support.
So you can understand where the confusion comes from when you
and I can
said that
see
about
that.
that,
Why
right?
I wanted to, yeah, sure, right, sure, and that's why I wanted to talk to you about it, right? Because I think that you and we had a conversation about this before, and I can very much easily empathize with Palestinians. Of course I can, but I don't think that it's entirely true that Palestine, like, I mean, didn't Palestine support?
No.
Pretty sure they did.
No.
I know what he says there. Didn't Palestine support Hitler? That's something I saw on Twitter earlier today as well. They're like, didn't they support the Nazis? Because obviously they were involved in that.
No.
I'm just gonna keep it playing.
They didn't exist.
What you're talking about is the British colonial occupation put forward a leader. Oftentimes in colonies, when you engage in like colonial actions, like and British Mandate Palestine was obviously a colony of the English, they will appoint a person into a position of power that is more acceptable to British needs and desires in the region to dominate the people. This is, I mean, history is riddled with examples such as this one. The Palestinian Grand Mufti was a singular person who went and linked up with and you know, thought that he could coordinate with in terms of like ridding Palestine of the Jews. Having said that, however, 11,000
and that sounds pretty bad.
It does. But
yeah.
when you realize that, one, there were also Jewish militias, early Zionist militias that also sought out help and tried to coordinate with. You understand that this has no bearing on an entire people and what their actual attitudes were.
That seems what a lot of this is. It's him attributing one select belief and movement to an entire ethno state. It's like an entire group of people.
Yeah, which you just don't do.
Which is just not
That's
something you do.
That's step one of geopolitics. You don't just assume. Like, I thought when you start earning you have to pay 7 figures in taxes. You at least are semi-knowledgeable of how a political system works, but I guess not.
I suppose not. Now, this is 27 minutes in. I wonder what it's like. How bad is it if we go like 2.5 hours deep?
There's more?
Let's go 2.5 hours deep.
Oh, God.
Oh, my God. I do not understand. Let's go. Okay, 2.5 hours deep.
Israeli incursions, further Israeli incursions. That is the reason why they are the domineering group. Israel all secular leadership so consistently, or turned it into, like the Palestinian Authority in the West Bank, turned it into its own security apparatus, but with a Palestinian face. So from the calculation of the Palestinians, they're like, okay, these guys are, these guys are religious, but they're also the only people defending us.
It's the devil, you know. I understand the
It's
argument.
not even the devil. They see it as like, these are the only people that are fighting back against the country that is, my house.
I understand that. And I can see their point of view. I just think that they're still bad. I do. I think it's bad to prosecute
pause
people
this.
and to
Can you pause this?
right.
I thought we were done just calling a whole people bad.
It's 2.5 hours in. How many times has he had to hear that? Listen, I understand that these people are not representative of the entire country of babies, women, children, people just under the age where you understand any of this, and I understand that these people have been persecuted since 1947, and it's been a very rough for them, but I still don't care if they die.
They bad.
Like, what?
Just the label of bad is also doing a lot of heavy lifting.
Mm-hmm.
That word is doing a lot of motherfuckers. I'm getting pissed off.
Identity.
Okay,
I'm
there's
not-
no disagreement.
see-
There's no disagreement with
Right.
what you're saying.
Of course.
The difference, however, is that again,
Go ahead.
Palestinian internal governance has always existed within the confines of being a colonial entity. They have never had full-blown sovereignty, so their internal affairs have to always be analyzed. Well, one, Palestinians are not of one mind, right? So that's number one. And number two is that we are talking about, especially if we're talking about the Gaza Strip, we're talking about people that are majority underage. Majority. The majority of the Gaza Strip is under the age of 18. So
Especially now.
like, we're talking about teenagers for the most part. We're talking about kids, because that's what's going on. So like their internal governance or what has happened in Palestinian society, it bears no basis in the outcome. Israel's them whether they're gay, Israel's them whether they're straight, or whether they're fundamentalists or not. Palestinians could be the wokest, okay? Palestinians could be making video games with like only trans representation, and Israel would still be them. Okay, that's the reason why it doesn't matter in this conversation whether they would engage in any sort of like internal governance post emancipation that is like or not.
I think that it really, I think that they should be able to make that decision themselves, right? Like, if they want to do that, that's fine. Like, that's, I mean, they're a sovereign nation, or they should be a sovereign nation. They should be able to do that. I just don't like the cultural equivalency. I do actually think that these cultures are, in a lot of cases, worse. And I think that there are a lot of points of difference there. Whether it's about how you can speak up against the government. How
he just doubled down again. Okay.
In a lot of cases, worse. And I think that there are a lot of points of difference there. Whether it's
that
about
quiet
how you,
scene.
I think that
Hold on.
there are a lot of points of difference.
Ooh.
The pain.
There. Whether it's about how you can speak up against the government, how you can resist different types of control.
But there, again, remember what I told you about like the Espionage Act during World War II, and
it really doesn't seem like he's getting anywhere at all.
Hell no, he never will.
I'm probably gonna end up watching a lot more of this on my own time, but holy shit.
It's just
I think he's just straight up yes manning and then just not listening to what he has to say. Quick 3-hour skip. It's a huge problem when some people are hypocritical and virtue signal with human rights, so I'm going to ignore a violation of children's human rights to show that I care about the other group, totally not virtue signaling.
yeah, that's all it is.
It's just bad faith the whole way through. Looking forward to what's going to happen tomorrow with Twitch or people with OTK. Probably nothing though, because it's Gold.
They won't. They will never say or speak up or do anything.
Especially not considering.
Why would you show me this? Why would you show me this image?
Moving on to our second, not as bad, but still we can do funnies about this. Recently we have and this is something you want to talk about. We can start with your stuff if you want. It's a clip from a Dog VA stream. Him and Chris Broad abroad in Japan. We're just talking, and they got on the topic of Mr. Beast. We can start off with the clip if you wish.
Let's start off.
Okay.
We'll lube it up the audience.
Mr. Broad had something to say.
So I kind of upload the main channel videos as a sponsor, right? Because I fund it, and
you need the funding for the castle one because that costs a lot of money.
And
this is a video that's coming out. We filmed it like 3 or 4 years ago, and it feels like that. And it was
very good. You know how this stuff goes. I feel like this is uploaded in the space of like 3 weeks.
What, give some money?
Very easily.
A company. Oh, here we go. This is it.
This is the video I watched yesterday, but it's the
Philanthropy,
same
look at me,
clip.
Did
philanthropy.
you? I want to see if you saw. Did you see the Mr. Beast thing where he rented out the theater to
Yes.
eat his Lunchables and watch the Talk
What a
Tour
f-
podcast?
What a fucking idiot.
Do you know Talk Tour? Do you know the Hawk Tour
Hawk
girl?
Tour, yeah, I know. Gotta give me that hawk tour.
What did you think about Mr. Beast's generational fall off?
What do you think first, Connor? Because I have a very strong opinion.
I will say for this clip, Connor plays it very safe. But I mean, he's got more connections.
I mean, anyone that thinks Mr. Beast is about anything other than making himself the richest YouTuber in the world has missed something. I mean, I've had chats with all sorts of YouTubers behind the scenes in the years.
Yeah.
I've met his manager, Reed, 2 years ago. I had a video call with he's left him. I had a call with his manager, Reed, a year or two ago.
Yeah.
And he was nice enough, but they were very much like, how can you make us more money? And I was like, I mean, I like to make videos that are fun and educational. I'm like, yeah, but money. That's all we care about. And they were coming out.
So at this point, you can't really fault like Mr. Chris Abroad for having that view, because I mean, honestly, it really does seem like now, especially now,
2024 has not been kind to Jimmy.
very not. Jimmy Beats has been going through it.
I don't know if we've had this. Why is my Elgato? Am I hitting the fire? I think I am. Oh, there it goes. There we go. I don't know if you and I've had this conversation. I think I had it with someone else. Jacksepticeye put out a tweet about. No,
Not a
he
tweet,
actually
it was in the
said
Tommy Innit video.
it was in a Tommy Innit
Lie
video,
detector.
verbatim from the horse's mouth.
It was like a year and a half ago at this point, right?
And he said that Mr. Beast ruined YouTube. And at that point, I went, "That's hyperbole," but I
Right,
mostly
remember you
agree.
Yeah, we have talked about this, or at least you said that.
I said that is a lot of oversimplification, but I absolutely agree. And
A year
now
and a
we're
half later, it's definitely played out. We have seen not only an entire and honestly, I can pretty much sum up a lot of this, and we'll skip to specific points because there's points that he makes, but it's a lot more of the fact that he stopped doing it for the love of the game, and now it's all for gotta get the
money,
gotta get the views. money. That's like, it's really like, that's all it is. And he talks about how just play out.
over at the time when Mr. Beast had just overtaken PewDiePie and stuff.
Right.
And that day, after the call with Reed, I was going surfing with Felix.
Yeah.
You know, when I could get into a fucking bathing suit, not anymore. Bodysuit. And I was like, oh, you know, I'm actually going to see Felix in a minute. And they were like, you know, we want to have Mr. Beast, Jimmy come over, and we're gonna have this. We want to do like a handoff. We're like, you know, from one YouTuber to the next, to the top of their game.
Yeah.
And I was like, it's just.
If that is not the most pretentious fucking thing I've ever heard of in my life. We want to have him pass the torch off, you know what I'm saying?
Listen, when I was a kid, I loved PewDiePie. Did Felix retire at the top of his game?
Hell no.
Right? Like,
We know when the top
Yes.
of his game was.
listen, my entire career is based off of the
The top
peak.
of his game.
Like,
2015,
doesn't-
2016, maybe.
like you can say, out of every single YouTuber for the 2010s, 2020s, who was the biggest one who had the most just overall influence? Which, when he was just being himself, was Felix. Because he was the biggest one. He was the face of YouTube. Would you say Mr. Beast is the face of YouTube?
Not anymore. But he
But there's-
most certainly was.
For a minute.
Oh yeah. I'd say from like 2020 to about 6 months ago.
But that's 3 years.
Dude.
It's not. Felix is like, what, almost 10?
LeBron run. Generational fade.
On his own. No team. Maybe an
Sive.
editing team. Yeah. And like when do you remember that group that he created with Mark, Cinnamon Toast, Kim, Jack?
I
That
don't
what
remember
that last
remember the bridge, but yeah. Revel mode.
Rebel mode.
Yeah.
If he hadn't destroyed the YouTube monetization system before that got off the ground, could you imagine the run that would have been?
Chicago Bulls in the 90s. Over.
Jesus Christ.
Like,
Just
insane. And continue, Chris Broad.
Sounds the most pretentious fucking shit I've ever heard. Oh yeah, great. And like, of course Felix wants that. Come on over and just, you know, hand some sort of weird trophy or something. I was just very lame. I remember talking to Felix. And I was just like, this is just so lame now.
I mean,
Is this all YouTube is now?
Yeah,
is it all just money?
Yeah,
Is
well,
that
mostly. Yeah, mostly.
and then he teamed up, and then, you know, he teamed up with Logan Paul, and that tells you what you need to know. Literally, he teamed up with Logan Paul, the biggest. Can I say the C word?
Yeah.
Like, biggest fucking cunt there is, right? I mean, everybody seems to have forgotten what a massive cunt Logan Paul is.
Well,
That's definitely, and I think that's his actual main point. With Beast, is what the hell is he doing hanging around with this guy?
money.
And that's literally all it is. And then we're going back to the moral argument. Morals are just out the window, I guess, when you become a damn near billionaire, I guess.
The minute your vision becomes so green, you forget reality. That's just the way.
And a lot of people have actually gotten on Mr. Chris Broad for being like so critical of him for being with Logan Paul. But you have to remember, this man was like the English-Japanese YouTuber, the English YouTuber in Japan. In 2018, when this shit popped off, when that shit happened in the forest.
I was watching him. I was watching Chris at this point. I remember.
And that shit was bad. Like he comes from, like, this comes from a very genuine thing of the way he talks about Logan Paul, it's a damn near Kendrick Lamar Drake level hating.
And for good reason.
Absolutely. Not only, I mean, he talks about it, and I'll probably just keep playing it. He talks about not obviously the forest, right? The crypto scam.
Yep.
And then
which everyone forgot about.
Which everyone just kind of forgot about for some reason. Where the hell is CoffeeZilla? And then now the lunchly. And that is your topic. That's
and
what
now
you talked to me about. We can talk about that. Put on some music.
I have tweets. You want? I have tweets pulled up, my guy.
Ooh, we got receipts. Well, yeah, send them.
So I'm gonna put them in the chat. So all this is going down. So I was not really keeping track of everything with Lunchly at this point. When I first saw it, I was like, "Oh, another."
The former Prime fiend you were.
I for a while I was a Prime fiend.
I recall. You put me on it in Tennessee.
You know what fucking killed it for me? He got Trump on, and my brain went, "Oh, right.
Dude, I don't think I can the Tommy in it beef dog. The week his daughter is born, and he's beefing with Tommy in it.
A child.
He's older than me. But dude, like, what the fuck are we doing? Because do you know how that started, right? Because in the middle of him, in the middle of his podcast with Trump, he talks about Gaza, and he does a Prime ad in the middle of that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what are we doing, man? Did you drop the tweet?
So there's a timeline. So
okay,
KSI.
Okay.
So we're talking about Logan Paul and Mr. Beast. There is one pivotal player in this that bombed his entire credibility as a creator through this entire thing by the name of
KSI's had it so fucking rough, but like deserved.
So it all starts with this tweet. Lunchly, baby.
Lunchly, baby.
Nothing, you know, an advertisement for your product. And then, here he comes. Dude. Comes.
Can I just say, 9.6 million views, 30k likes? Holy shit.
Now look at Dan's.